I noticed something he said when he was talking. He said, you can't be sensitive about this when I'm saying this, but you can't tell people what they sensitive about.
Yeah.
So
you can't talk about the same thing.
You can't tell people what makes them sensitive. So you just be mindful how you talk about it. Both parties have to be mature, with understanding each other and communicating.
Hi, and thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Marriage Matters with PB&J. I am Angela Johnson.
And I'm Robert Johnson.
And please introduce yourselves, friends.
I am Latalia Posey.
I'm Jeffrey Posey.
I'm Dorian Black.
I'm MeKael Black.
Great. And we are Marriage Matters with PB&J. And we are talking today about something that I know is common to all of you guys.
Absolutely.
If you've been married longer than 2 minutes, you have had a misunderstanding. Have you not?
Yes.
Yes.
Quite a few.
Yes, quite a few. I'm sure with all of us who've been married over 20 years, there have been many misunderstandings, but by the grace of God,
Thank you, Lord.
we made it through.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
So we're going to talk a little bit today about where those misunderstandings might originate. Like, where do they come from? So are you going to open up with a question, or you want me to just fire mine right
Well,
away?
you go right ahead because you are rolling already.
Well,
Okay.
and hopefully this won't take you guys a long time. I know it won't take us a long time. Think back to the most recent misunderstanding that you've had. And it doesn't have to be a huge argument, but a conversation where I was trying to say X, but my spouse heard Y, and everything just got a little jumbled up. So you guys have a conversation in mind?
You have one?
You don't have to share just yet because I'm going to ask another question. Just make sure you have one in mind. Okay? Doesn't have to be the same one.
Okay.
Okay. So everyone's got a misunderstanding in mind.
Oh,
Okay.
we both need to have one. Okay, let me think. Go ahead. I'm thinking.
So think about
sure it's there.
if you could replay that conversation in your mind. Can you pinpoint where that misunderstanding originated?
Well, I have several.
I think we only have, 23 minutes.
You can remind me when you start. It'll probably jar my memory.
And it probably originated from me not listening.
That sounds right.
I guess we was getting ready to go somewhere, and you, I think I was in the closet, and you were saying something, and I was just saying yes, and I wasn't really hearing you.
You got to narrow it down because you do that all the time.
Well, on this particular case, it was a time you were saying, I really still didn't hear you. Still don't know what you were saying.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's going to cause a misunderstanding.
Right.
I do know I was answering you. I was giving you an answer and wasn't really fully hearing you.
Okay.
Because we was in the mode of moving and going and trying to get out of the house. And then and later on you asked me about did you hear me what I said? And I couldn't remember what you said. And to this day, I still can't remember
Again,
what you
you got
said.
to narrow it down because that happens pretty much daily.
Jeff said, I still don't know what you said.
That happens all the time. Well, a lot of the time.
Yes.
You can't be more specific. I guess you can't be specific. You don't know what I said.
Because he didn't know what you
Okay,
said.
well, I can think of one. I could plan in the date night that we referenced earlier.
Okay.
When I asked you to take care. Yeah. I asked you to take care of a task. Said, could you just do? I just need you to do one thing. Nothing else. You don't even have to worry about the rest if you can just handle this one thing. And you jack that one thing up.
I didn't jack it
Oh,
up.
you did. Yes, and that caused a huge misunderstanding between us.
We almost didn't have a date night.
Jeff just wasn't almost there. We'll go ahead. No, I'm joking.
So
But
what was the root of that misunderstanding?
Not listening. He just, I asked if he could do it, and And then he just didn't really listen to what I said, what I asked him to do. Because probably like that, he was just like, yeah.
Well, in that particular case,
Okay.
I was trying to make things happen because, a lot of moving parts with that particular situation. I was trying to make things happen and I was going to tell you about it, but I didn't get because we had some other things going on. I didn't get an opportunity to break the news to her what I had changed or were intending to change about what we had agreed to. Yeah. And so it did look as if I didn't hear what we had discussed in the beginning.
So we'll just say communication.
Communication.
So yeah.
So a little lack of communication, a little miscommunication.
And no communication.
Delayed communication.
Delayed or no, whatever way you want to term it.
Yes.
And a little bit of not listening, as he admitted on
Yeah, I admit that.
on the first. Okay.
I take that.
Okay.
Dorian, what you got?
It was probably within the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
It was something. I think it was something. I don't know if you said I was reading. I was reading something, or I was saying something, and you didn't get. You took it one way, I took it another way.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you don't see what?
Yeah.
I don't even remember, but it was something. I can't really remember it all.
Yeah.
But after a while, you were like, look, it say this. I'm like, what you say?
Oh,
I said,
yeah.
you sure? All right, I'm going like that.
Yeah. I remember that now. Yeah. But you know what? Listening is a skill. Listening is a skill. But I was trying to explain something to him. But he had already made up in his mind the answer.
Yes.
The outcome. And it wasn't until I had to show him in black and white
Why
the
y'all
answer.
Why do we show you
And he
black
was
and
like,
white?
oh.
It happens
Oh,
about
girl,
too.
you right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, listening is a skill. And I think it's very important for both spouses to listen, not listen to respond, but listen to understand. When I'm telling you something, it's coming. You just don't assume that you know the
sister,
answer.
Preach.
Listen to where I'm coming from.
Yes.
Hear my heart.
Come on. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you out, brother. But he had already made up in his mind what it was, and I didn't do I told you so. I was just like,
And that was good. You came back and said, you know what, you're right. Because
Yeah.
some people would take it. I'm saying it's probably some people in the world out there
In the
somewhere
world.
In the world.
who would take it down.
Yeah, they'll just go red on you.
Even if they see it in black and white, they still not gonna believe it.
yeah.
Sometimes them pencil marks be wrong.
Ink, typing, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's great that you did that,
Just
Dorian.
say, in this day and age, there are a lot of things in black and white.
Yeah.
Not necessarily facts.
In that same thing we were talking about, when he said I didn't tell him what it was, I pulled up the text message that I sent
Oh
him.
Lord, who is in the text message?
He was like,
The receipts.
but still, the receipt still didn't matter in his mind. So yeah, I get it.
That is interesting. Okay. Ms. J? So any follow-up to that?
Well, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm hearing from these examples. Again, we had listening was the root there.
Assumption.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
assumption.
making assumptions based on what you think you may already know. Both of those things can be at the root of misunderstanding.
When we talk about misunderstanding and why couples do that, we also have to think about differences, right? And our definition of words can be very different. What I think about this word, how I define a word, can be very different. And because of that, I'm open to misunderstanding you because I thought this word meant X, Y, and Z. So if you string several of those words along in the same conversation that we're having, and we all got all these various definitions of these words, then we done open ourselves up to a bigger understanding. We can see how the train gets off the track. So if I think that word meant didn't have so much firepower to it, wasn't that very intense, I'm trying to figure out why your response to it is very different from how I felt like I presented it. But because I'm defining that word very differently. So how much of a part has that played in your conversations over the years? Just, can you give us an example of a word that just did not mean the same thing? We may have been in the same ballpark, but it was enough difference to create a misunderstanding. What would that word be?
Well, I can't help but think about a word that we usually challenge people to define, like in detail, when they are getting ready to get married. And we use it every day. I love you. I love you too. Well, what do you mean by love? What does love look like to you?
Yeah. Because I may mean that I need you to be transparent for the rest of your life. Meaning, I don't want to dig for information. You just got to volunteer to be open and honest with me from here on out.
Right.
That's about anything. Financial dealings, who's texting, calling you, you're going to lunch with, on and on and on and on and on, right? Who was that late night call from your family member? What was it about? Because your temperament changed, and then it was nothing. But the point is, I may think that that's a component of love, and you may say, "Well, man, he's not, willing to be honest with me, or be transparent with me." So as a result, I don't think he's all in on this. I don't think he really loves me. And so we may. Here's part two. We may begin to differ about the conversation, but deeper down, I'm in a place where now I'm fighting about a different fight. It's about that phone call, but it's really connected to the fact that I'm grappling with the fact that I don't really feel loved. I don't really feel heard. I don't really feel like this is. I'm feeling disappointed because you didn't offer to be transparent.
Right.
And so now you got two dynamics happening. The way I define love, and then I got this root fight that I'm fighting that's coming out. So now it's going to change the third thing: emotional intensity.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just how complex we are. It just keeps building one after another, and you be like, whoa. Yeah. How did we get all the way over here when we just left out of the living room laughing? Right. And between the living room and going to sleep, we are swole.
That's a good question because, people perceive things differently. Just like math problems, you may solve a problem one way and I may solve it another way, but we get the same answer. And as far as the word, the word that came instantly to my mind was need.
Okay.
Now, I may say, you need to go put the baby to bed.
Okay.
And he's going to take that the wrong way.
How's he going to perceive
He's going to perceive that as, you don't tell me what to do. Or I could say, Dora, you know what? I need you to give me a hug. And he's not like but if I say it in a way like, you need to do this or else, it ain't gonna go over good. Yeah. But if I say it like in a loving way, like, you know what, I just need you to help me out and wash the dishes, or he clean up anyway, but I'm just giving an example. Right. But it can be perceived, I guess, in your tone, how you're saying things, the context of it. If you say that word in a way that your spouse may not like it, or it may rub them the wrong way, or may be disrespectful, or, it just depends on, I guess, on them and how they perceive it and how you're relaying it.
Yeah.
Very good. Very, very good. Very good example. And to the poses, is there a word that kind of stands out?
For me, I don't know if it's a word that stands out. What MeKael said, it's about the tone. Because she can say something to me, and sometimes she could say it in a way like, I didn't even give much thought. Like the example you gave, like, you need to bring me a glass of water or something. Well, now you wouldn't say that. That's not what you would say. I'm just saying as an example. If you say something like, if you say something like, you'll close that door or something like that, instead of you asking me to close the door, which in your case you may be thinking you're asking me to close the door. So it's all about the tone and then where we are at that time. Yeah. If you already kind of already on edge,
like, wait a minute.
Like, you just tell me to close the door.
Hold on.
Man, if I've been
It's already volatile.
Yeah.
No, you close the door.
But if it's all good and everything.
That's another dynamic.
Yeah,
That's
no,
another
a big
dynamic.
one. I think my word was different. I think I was thinking about a word that we define differently. Like, it's soon. Like, if you say, I'm going to do that soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We got some laughs off of that one.
Because I'm thinking soon means,
So what is soon in terms of time frame to you?
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
But at the longest to me, soon, if I hear I'm going to do that soon, maybe a couple of weeks. But then if soon is like a year later or a year and a half.
You forgot.
and then even with the reminders, just like, I ain't had time. I'm going to do it soon. That's another year and a half.
Well, the word soon should buy his time.
So that's but we both have very, very different definitions.
Yeah, we have a
of the
definition of
So,
I follow you.
yes.
I can definitely see how that would lead to a misunderstanding.
It does.
Oh, I understood you to mean you're going to do it in a couple of weeks.
He means before he dies. Before Jesus comes back.
If the Lord, that was part of the saying growing up.
Lord tarries.
If the Lord tarries.
Is the Lord tarries?
Yeah.
That's what I have learned.
It was another part.
That garage door not hurting
Hey,
anybody.
that's exactly what I was thinking about. The garage door. That's See?
If the creek don't
That's
rise.
exactly what I was thinking
I'm going to
about.
finish it soon.
We've had it's needed to be painted for about 2 years now. When he said soon, I'm thinking, within the same year. A couple of years later.
I got the first
Oh, goodness.
coat on there.
2 years ago.
It's primed.
It still has a painter's tape from 2 years ago.
And we're all laughing
Yes.
right now about these misunderstandings, but we also know that they all have the potential.
Yeah.
To blow up.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
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 Right. So,
And not be so funny.
exactly.
Yeah.
So how do we avoid that? And if we're fully aware that, okay, when I talk to Robert and he say, I'm on my way home,
Yeah, that's going to be hers right there.
and, a little time passes by and he's not home, and he said it that way for years, how do we avoid misunderstanding each other? If I already know that's how he communicates, and I understand it meaning I'll see you in a few minutes because you're on the way. So how do we avoid the misunderstanding? If I'm aware that he says it, but he means this, I hear it and I understand it as that. How do we avoid misunderstanding? What can we say or do to avoid a big blow up?
I think knowing your spouse and knowing their language and their definition of words. And then, if it's something, picking your battles.
Yeah.
If it's something you just can't, deal with, and some of you just have to have really soon doing that. But if it's something else that it just is what it is, just respecting, just the difference.
And to avoid, I guess, strife or anything like that would be just communicate. If you, like the example you gave, it'd be like, you mean soon now or soon?
In between the minutes.
Right. Yes.
I'll tell you what, maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah. And the tone. That's
Yeah.
one thing I do have to check myself on often to make sure my delivery is good.
No, you have gotten so great at it, baby.
Trying.
And I'm trying to be more
I
prompt.
like that.
Yeah.
And I think learning from past experiences, from past, times where you've said something and it went a different way than what you said or how you meant for it to be said. So learning from that and making those adjustments. Okay, I know he doesn't like for me to say, you need to do this with this tone, so just don't do it.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to hurt for you just not to do it that way.
Right.
Just make that adjustment and change my tone and how I relate that to him. Because, and I understand it, because no man want to feel like you bossing them around or something like that. So I get that. The same for me. I don't want to feel like you bossing me around.
Right.
So just being aware of that and making those adjustments. And Dorian, you didn't tell me your word. Or do you have a word? Okay.
He just know what word triggers him.
Well, you know what? It's just like different words. No, it's not one word. It's just like your communication. Like, I don't know, the way that I perceive what you say is totally different than what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So now I have to ask, okay, so are you saying...
He does do that a lot.
That's good, though.
Because that caused some misunderstanding. Because I'm thinking one thing, but you saying something totally different.
Yeah.
So now I just got to ask.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So,
He does that a lot.
It is. That is wisdom to do that. I think about a really funny example that happened to me at work this week. A question was that I work at home, so we communicate a lot through like chats and all that kind of stuff. So someone had asked a question about who holds this position at our school now, and so I threw out a name. And then the person after me said that she's no longer with us. And so, those of us who work in ministry all the time, when you say somebody is no longer with us, then my emotions went to a whole different place.
Yeah, when you say that, I went to something. Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my gosh, let me take this person's name out of this conversation because, so I'm messaging the person who said, what happened? I didn't know she was no longer with us. And it's like, Miss Johnson, she went to another school. I'm like, oh, thank God. I had killed the poor woman. But just that's the vantage point that I was looking for. He was saying one thing, but I was listening from my own experiences, my own world. And then my emotions took me to a whole different place. My heart started palpitating. And, I was like, how do I fix this? I don't want this in here because I don't want, So just making sure, like Dorian said, go ahead and replay that. Hey, I'm reaching out to you to clarify. When you said no longer with us, did you mean,
Yeah.
So just reaching out or replaying what your spouse said.
That's true.
And saying, oh, now what I hear you saying is am I correct there? Am I a little off? Make sure that you understand what they're saying before you go ahead and let your emotions
I think that's very
get ahead of you and you start responding to what you thought you heard.
That's good.
That's emotional intelligence too, because a lot of times if you're not really mature in that aspect and someone says something like that and you blow up and you be like, I really mean it like that.
Right.
So that's important in marriage too, emotional intelligence.
Absolutely.
Being able to control your emotions.
Yes.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Because you'll try to manage your marriage off of those, and you'll cease to be spirit-led in the marriage. And the reality is you really begin to lose some credibility. When we go flesh, you lose credibility that you appear to have been more mature and sounded more mature. So now I got to reset where you are in my mind.
That's good.
And I got to deal with you where you are.
Right.
And then be willing to reinvest again, because then I got to become vulnerable again. I got to take risk with you again. And that's what make marriage for grown folks. And sometimes I'm not making sacrifices. Sometimes I won't make sacrifices for my spouse, but if I'm maintaining my relationship with God like it's supposed to be, I'll make it for God, and my spouse will get the benefit.
Come on.
So you got to. That's why I said it behooves all of us that our spouse keeps that relationship with God, because on our merit, on how well we doing in our marriage, it's not going to be sufficient.
Right.
You know, all we got to do is disappoint, or they misinterpret anything. And then before you know it, the level of sacrifice, that unconditional love is not there. And there's some pullback, some retreat, some negative feedback sometimes, or just some absenteeism. So we gotta give thought to that.
So I heard you say another reason that we might misunderstand our spouse is sometimes we're just not mature enough to respond in the right way. So I want to kind of ask a question around that. If there is an area where you have already realized that your spouse is a little immature, not quite where they should be, because we all can stand some growth in some area or two or three. If you've noticed an area where your spouse needs growth and maturity, how do you deal with them in that area to avoid it always turning into a misunderstanding?
I think you have to, that's good. If you know they have an issue or need some maturity, you probably have to kind of tread. You tread lightly around those sensitive, whatever. But I think you have to communicate to that person too. Like, look, you being sensitive over this, and you shouldn't be. It's about communication. I'm saying this, but you're taking it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So when I say this, don't take it as I'm saying whatever you're thinking. This is what I mean. So when I say it, don't take it the wrong way. So it got to be on the other side. That person got to be willing to grow.
That's true.
As well. That's true. Instead of just blowing up every time you think you heard something that's not right.
Right.
Just like I was saying, with early in the marriage, like MeKael, like I said, the way she communicates, it's different. It's different. And I used to take things like the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then she had to tell me, okay, this is not what I mean. Like, I done went off. And she didn't even.
Wasn't even warranted.
Right. So now it's like I had to be willing to want to grow and get better. This is my wife. So I want to understand how she communicates. So when she says something, I'm trying to figure out, okay, maybe she didn't mean that. Let me ask this girl, what did she mean?
And you have to talk about it.
Right.
You have
Yeah.
to have to talk about it. And you have to be mindful of the words you say when you're talking about it. Because I noticed something he said when he was talking. He said, you can't be sensitive about this when I'm saying this, but you can't tell people what they sensitive about.
Yeah.
So
you can't talk about the same thing.
you can't tell people what makes them sensitive. So you just be mindful how you talk about it. Both parties have to be mature, with understanding each other and communicating.
And you have to use your power. You got to pray, because we can't change ourselves, by ourselves, let alone our spouse. So first, you're going to take that thing to the master.
Right.
Like, this is, you created him, or you created me. Like, I need you to do this. And then I agree, like you say, talk about it, and then show grace.
Yeah.
As difficult as it may seem at times, show grace until they get it. I think it's a balance. It's not ignoring it, and it's not excusing it. It's addressing it, but then also showing grace as your spouse grows, just as you would want the same grace.
That's so funny you said grace. When you asked the question, Angela, I thought about 3 words. I thought about patient, I thought about grace, and I thought about mercy. And so you talking about maturing, you giving that person time to mature.
Wow. So this has been an interesting subject, and one of which could be explored even more. But it does take honest, mature adults being committed to wanting to humble themselves before God and with each other. So it takes some honesty, some being objective, and it's going to take a whole lot of empathy.
Yes.
You know, how could what you're saying be true? And if I just take that one spin, that helps me to change seats and be empathetic, but it also helps me to be a lot more objective. I'm able to hear it from another perspective. So we got a lot of things that kind of pull on us when we are talking and to each other. A lot of things that can cause us to take detours in our conversations. So we'll have to revisit this subject and explore some more down the road on this whole thing. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have been so insightful and honest, and that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Marriage Matters with PB&J. Like, share, and subscribe to our pages on Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook. Until next time, your marriage matters.